Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Patreon-sponsored review time again, returning to our extravaganza. And something I've actually been kind of interested in getting into at some point, despite me no longer really being an anime fan, the works of Leiji Matsumoto. Starblazers is the dub name for Space Battleship Yamato, a 3-season TV series originally conceived of as a much darker, Lord of the Flies-esque tale of survival in outer space among various desperate factions and individuals. Development eventually fell to Matsumoto, who refined the idea into a more proper space opera, and a serialized one at that. The story now involves... well, it's kind of insane, so we'll get to it when we get to it in the actual episode's plot, but needless to say, the show is popular enough to spawn several sequel movies, spin-offs, and a full remake. And for Matsumoto, the intergalactic setting of Yamato was where a lot of his own series ended up taking place, most notably Captain Harlock, who was originally conceived of debuting in Yamato, but had to be cut because the series' length was cut down. My only exposure to the wider universe he made has been the film version of Galaxy Express 999 and its sequel, which both aired on the Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. But I've always been kind of fascinated by the whole universe from afar and been interested in checking it out, but you know how it is. There's always more to watch and check out, and me being such a continuity nerd, I'd want to watch everything to do with the universe rather than just jump into Captain Harlock, even though this kind of shared universe isn't like, say, Star Trek, where watching it in release order makes a big difference to the continuity. A lot of these things tend to be self-contained. After all, I saw both Galaxy Express 999 films and didn't need to see Captain Harlock or Starblazers to understand them. Still, let's dig into the first 3 episodes of Starblazers and see how this all began.
Welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. Linkara's gonna teach you all a lesson you won't learn. What's with these awkward subjects? What's all this art so rubbish? To anyone who's had a bad comic published, it could be your turn. Linkara, he is a man, punch, sporadically a grouch. Linkara, he has his own spaceship, but he's always on his couch. Linkara, ghosts, gods, a universe in flux. Linkara, this comic sucks. Linkara.
Bear in mind that since the request was specifically for Starblazers and not the original Space Battleship Yamato, we're once again using a dub, and so things might be a bit on the goofy side, especially for a dub from the 70s. In addition, stuff that might have gotten an explanation in Japanese may not be present in the English dub, so I might question something that was actually not confusing in the original. Just bear with me is all I'll say. Let's begin our first episode, The Battle at Pluto, SOS Earth, the Yamato Awakens. Okay, so here's the thing. The version I'm using is a fan-made remaster of the old dub, which is the best quality version I could find. There are YouTube uploads, but they're in low resolution, the audio isn't great, and the remaster actually bothered to try to add, credits to the voice actors in it, which apparently has been a problem with some official releases. The remaster also apparently added in some stuff that had been censored or ended up getting lost during the transfer to VHS and DVD from the original dub, though what those elements are I couldn't tell you. The downside is that apparently the original show didn't have episode titles anywhere. I couldn't find a title card or any text in the opening of any of the versions I have, so I'm going by Wikipedia for said episode titles. But the remastered version has title cards based on the original Japanese episode titles. Anyway, theme song.
We're off to outer space.
Well, when you get back, make sure you don't have a sad look on your face.
Our Starblazers.
Oh, now it's our Starblazers. When we got them, it was your Starblazers. Yeah, the song's a bit on the cheesy side, like a rousing military march over scenes of space action and battles and whatnot, outlining the general plot of the show. It's not bad per se, it's just not the kind of thing that really hits me like some other themes. That being said, something that is unexpected about this theme song is that it seems to be a translation of the original Japanese theme song, so your mileage may vary on that. Anyway, we open with our spaceship leader, Captain Avatar, voiced by Gordon Ramsay.
Fuck off!
No, not that one. A voice actor who died in 1993.
I cannot bear to see what has become of Earth.
Which is why I'm staring right at it. Guys, I think the Earth needs some cortisone cream. That much redness and irritation cannot be good for it. So yeah, Earth is a wasteland now. How the hell did this happen?
In the year 2199, planet Earth was facing extinction.
It then turned around, mooned extinction, and said, "What are you gonna do now, extinction? Destroy all my water and grass and stuff?" In the mid-21st century, a planet called Gamelon declared war on Earth. Instead of an outright invasion, they bombarded the planet with asteroids. Earth united in the wake of the attacks, but humanity was forced underground and refused to surrender. Earth's fleets were destroyed, and I guess the asteroids are radioactive or something, because radiation is beginning to leak into the underground cities. Now Earth is radioactive! That can't be good! They've got about a year before the radiation reaches them, and the Earth Defense Forces are putting their hopes on a space battle near Pluto with their only remaining warship, of course run by the good Captain Avatar.
We stand between them and Earth. We must prevail. We are Earth's last defense.
And I, the last airbender. They detect Gamelon's fleet approaching Pluto.
Enemy position at 3 o'clock.
Oh yeah, they're in the really flat part of outer space.
Speed, 27 space knots.
We get it, you're from space!
By the way, a knot in nautical terms is the equivalent of about 1.15 miles per hour, and they said the enemy were 10,000 megameters away. 10,000 megameters is 6,213,712 miles. So good news for the defense of Earth. If I did my math properly, and assuming that a space knot is the same speed as a regular knot, the Gamelons should arrive in about 617 years. Of course, a space knot must be much faster because they soon enter within 2,500 megameters. The Gamelon ships order their surrender.
Tell them they're idiots.
That's it? Give it time. It'll eat at you.
The combat is treated very much as if this was just on the sea, shooting alongside each other. Except in this case, the lasers of the Earth ships don't seem to do any damage to the Gamelon ships, while theirs manage to start blowing up the support vessels. Damn, if only there was some other axis they could move on to try to evade their fire.
This pattern indicates two-dimensional thinking.
They detect another ship moving at incredible speeds from outside the solar system, but it's not headed for the battle, instead crashing on Mars. Earth Defense Headquarters dispatches the nearest observation staff they have, a pair of cadets named Derek Wildstar and Mark Venture, to go check out the crashing ship. The ship ejects an escape pod as the two fly over to investigate, not able to find any kind of identifying markings on the escape pod. What they do find is a woman with a really long magenta dress. She's dead, but she drops what looks like a double-sided sex toy on the ground.
It must have been very important to her.
Or we just caught her at a very awkward moment.
She must be from some unknown planet.
You mean the unknown woman flying in an unknown ship must be from some unknown planet? My God, where would we be without your deductive skills, Wildstar? One of the support vessels, captained by Alex Wildstar, Derek's brother, is able to destroy one of the Gamelon ships, but things are pretty grim, especially on the flagship. Everything except Wildstar's missile ship have been destroyed, so Avatar orders them to retreat. There's nothing to be served by continuing the fight. However, Wildstar orders his vessel to go in behind Avatar's to protect them, despite Avatar telling him not to.
It's just a simple matter of mathematics, sir. There are 470 men in your flagship. There are 20 in our ship.
It's numbers. Cold, unsympathetic numbers.
The Gamelon ships quickly surround and destroy the missile ship. And behold, the origin of Captain Harlock! Well, the original one. Before the episode count was cut, it was going to be revealed that Alex Wildstar survived and became Captain Harlock. Now, it would later get revealed that he did survive. Sorry for the spoilers for this 50-year-old series. But by that point, the Captain Harlock connection was completely discarded, namely because Captain Harlock had already premiered and become his own thing. Anyway, at least he gets off a few last shots and destroys some more Gamelons before the end, so can't say he didn't give it his all. On the way back, Avatar's ship swings by Mars to pick up the cadets so they can be debriefed on what they found. The cadets fly up. Nothing says spaceship docking scene quite like light jazz, am I right? As they reach Earth, they witness more asteroid bombardment, and Captain Avatar laments that the Earth can't end this way.
As long as I live, I will fight.
You are literally back here because you ran away! The ship lands back on Earth, and in the underground city, the cadets take an elevator down.
About your brother Alex, I'm so sorry.
Yeah? The two run into Captain Avatar, who commends Alex to his brother, but Derek is just upset that Alex sacrificed himself, telling the captain he could have ordered him to retreat. Avatar doesn't bring up that he did, just saying sorry to Derek and walking off.
What Alex did was very brave. He saved the lives of many men.
My boat.
The two bring the object from the dead woman to command, said object apparently being a message capsule. To their shock, they pass by a woman who looks exactly like the dead alien. Unfortunately, they don't have time to contemplate that. They have to deal with that old trope of space operas, a pig wrangler.
Fellows, I could use some help here. Give me a hand.
Strangely, the pig also resembled the dead alien woman. They asked this guy who the woman was.
That was Nova, best nurse I've got.
Now help me restrain the medical pig, dagnabbit! He tries to pull the pig into another room, and then a robot comes up and kicks the pig inside. The robot introduces himself as IQ9, and the doctor as Dr. Sane.
He's a little eccentric, about 5 degrees.
Admittedly, they're all in art history, but still. Dr. Sane apparently has a whole bunch of animals and claims that said animals are intelligent.
I doubt it. Not the way I compute intelligence.
They're all obsessed with ChatGPT. I'm actually a robot, and even I see that's dumb. Avatar is in a hospital bed recovering from injuries and gets a call from Earth Command. They've apparently translated the message, and IQ9, arriving with some tea, decides to eavesdrop. Even in the future, technology is just used to spy on us. Nova spots Derek sad in the lobby, and Mark explains about his lost brother to her. Then IQ9 comes in.
I have gathered some information. It is for you two men. The woman is not included.
Wow, they teach health class way later in life than nowadays.
I know when I'm not wanted.
Well, yeah, especially when he says that you're not wanted. What? He tells them what he overheard, though we see it in the form of cutting back to headquarters. The message is from a woman named Starsha from the planet Iscandar. The dead woman was her sister, Astra, and it was a message of peace. Iscandar is offering them something called Cosmo DNA that can remove the radioactivity from Earth. For some reason, they need Earth to come pick it up from their planet. Shipping fees are ridiculous, people. And the message capsule contains plans for creating a wave motion engine that will allow them to travel the distance necessary to reach them.
I am Starsha of planet Iscandar. Know then that it is the year 10,191.
Avatar says they have very little choice but to believe the whole thing is genuine. But they're interrupted by a warning about an approaching Gamelon ship.
Emergency alert! A Gamelon plane approaching site of the sunken battleship, the Yamato.
We really need to have better reference points on our map than sunken ships. There are like 3,000 miles between the USS Constitution and the INS Vikrant. The cadets say they're gonna fly this mission. And by that I mean they just decide while just standing around in the hangar bay that they're gonna do it without informing anyone ahead of time, or looking for someone in the chain of command or anything, or asking if anyone else is being sent out to do this. They fly out and we see that apparently the hangar bay doesn't even have a door or anything. You just fly out of a big hole in the side of a cliff. Guys, I think I figured out how the radiation is able to seep in so quickly. It's a radical theory, I know, but I think you should hear me out. The two wonder what the hell's so important about an old battleship and soon detect a Gamelon plane. And their own engine overheats and the ship crashes before they can fire a single shot at the Gamelons. God, you'd think after 200 years we'd learn to stop letting Boeing make our aircraft. Walking out, they find the wreck of the Yamato, and the music swells up while the two question why the hell the Gamelons are interested in this thing. We close out the episode with the narrator informing us of the legacy of the ship, and how it will soon rise again to save Earth. The Yamato apparently holds large cultural significance to Japan, so symbolically linked to Japan as a country that the Yamato is kind of seen as a stand-in for it. Thus, it was felt that the country wouldn't fall in World War II as long as the Yamato was okay. Which, considering the Yamato was sunk in 1945, there might have been something to that. Moving on to episode 2, Carrier attacks the sleeping Yamato, which honestly feels like that should be the Japanese title, but no, that's One Blast of the Signal Gun. So I suppose together we know what the sleeping Yamato was shot with. After a recap of the last episode, we learn that something is actually up with the Yamato, via the Earth Defense Headquarters, where Captain Avatar talks with the General about retrofitting and upgrading the old vessel. and that they're out of time. They'll complete the work on the way. But enough of that intrigue, let's check in on IQ-9.
This is very stupid work for a robot with a genius IQ.
Marvin the paranoid android's grumpier cousin. Apparently the cadets got brought back to base and Derek injured his arm or something, since Nova is wrapping it in bandages and expositing that she's heard that... Well, listen to this.
I heard you crash-landed near the old Yamato. Something strange is going on there. I heard Captain Avatar is going to make a spaceship out of it.
What? I don't... How... What the hell do you mean? Captain Avatar is gonna make a spaceship out of it! This is like saying you're gonna turn a 1920s jalopy into a shuttlecraft to reach Neptune! It's blatantly insane on its face! It's a rusted, destroyed 1940s seafaring vessel! A 250-year-old wreck of a ship designed to float on water, and you're gonna turn it into something that can travel through outer space? I mean, for crying out loud, we're not even talking about melting down the metal used in its hull to reuse it or something. They're actually retrofitting the battleship into something that can go through space! Like, even if somehow the two very different styles of ship construction could be interchangeable, why wouldn't you just design a ship from the ground up so that it had everything you know you need on such a journey? Because the purpose of a warship is a little different than one designed to try to get to another planet as fast as possible. And on top of all of that, it's 250 years old! At least find a more recent wrecked ship to try this on! It's amazing! I don't see how we can have anything more nonsensical than that! Never mind! Why did you do that? The two cadets are summoned over the intercom, told to arrive via air car.
Have we done anything we don't want them to know about?
No, can't possibly imagine anything that's happened today. How do we keep topping the last stupid thing? IQ-9 comes along over their objection, revealing that he can split himself into 3 floating parts. As stated, he thinks the hospital work is beneath him. Sexual harassment apparently is not, though. Turns out Dr. Sane was also in the trunk, boozing it up. The car is flying them automatically, so they can't just dump him out. They arrive at a facility underneath the Yamato, which they spot embedded in the ground that makes up the facility's ceiling. They're told to get into an elevator, which slants when they start moving.
We're going up at an angle. That's pretty strange for an elevator.
It's the year 2199. Wonkavator technology has advanced considerably. They arrive on the bridge of the Yamato, Captain Avatar waiting for them. They notice that it's been converted into a spaceship, as Nova said. Speaking of...
Nova?
How did you get here before us? IQ-9 volunteers to help on whatever mission they have, and Avatar approves, explaining that he otherwise summoned the two cadets to join the mission for their outstanding service records. Aside from them stealing and then trashing a ship just from a few hours ago, you mean. But yeah, he wants a group of exceptional people to join in on this mission, putting out the call all over the world for their best and brightest.
We will be called the Star Force.
We're workshopping it though. Maybe something a bit more exciting, like we're blazing through the stars or whatever, I don't know. Derek thinks that this is just about taking on the Gamelons, but Avatar tells him this is about going to Iscandar. They're going to try to deliberately avoid the Gamelons whenever possible, which is not going to be so in the next few minutes as the Gamelons have renewed their bombing, aiming for the Yamato and sending a force directly at it. The ship gets hit and... God damn it, IQ-9! Stop trying to cop a feel on Nova, you weird pervy robot! The cadets want to know why the hell they're not fighting back or moving or anything, but Avatar just says they need to be patient. The Gamelons, meanwhile, get contacted by their superior, who sounds like Roddy McDowell, frankly.
A video screen shows you're not being aggressive enough. I want immediate action.
Don't you hate it when your boss comes by to micromanage you? The Gamelon's mothership descends towards Yamato as our heroes get the ship's power online. They get an emergency engine running so the ship can actually move, Avatar ordering the cadets to man the guns and piloting. The ships emerge from the ground, which looks noticeably less orange than it has, but maybe it's because it's at night, and floating above the surface. They blow up the Gamelon's carrier.
Good work.
Thanks. You both were marvelous.
And I contributed a whole lot to that. And I guess all those other Gamelon ships that were bombing them just gave up and died without the mothership. Anyway, we cut over to the Gamelon's homeworld, where not Roddy McDowell... wait, he actually kind of looks like Roddy McDowell, too. Huh. Anyway, he's told about the Yamato.
They're still fighting on even after losing at Pluto. Don't they know they're defeated?
We already sent out the second place trophy to them. Back on Earth, Avatar briefs the cadets a little about the Yamato.
This was a great battleship in a time when great fleets sailed the seas and there were wars among the nations of Earth.
Oh really? Which side of the war was the Yamato on, Captain? Well, actually, I say he's briefing the cadets. I just assume that's who he's telling this to, since we're just lingering on the ship before the picture fades to a father and son in a rowboat watching the original Yamato sailing out and joining a fleet. This leads into just like a recreation of a bunch of planes fighting the Yamato during World War II, and it is better animated than anything else in the episode. The Yamato is sunk by the planes, though in actual history there were also a bunch of ships launching torpedoes at them. Avatar finishes his little story and then, well, tells us info that both we and the cadets already know. Once the Gamelons attacked, Earth united, they need to take the ship to Iscandar, expect some battle even though they're not here to fight a war. The cadets, of course, agree to go along, the captain makes a little speech, and then suddenly everyone is just standing around staring at the captain as he looks out the window for a bit. We end in some beauty shots showing off the Yamato as the narrator drones on a bit.
Can this ancient ship travel 148,000 light years and back in just one Earth year?
That's what we're going to find out today in this video, sponsored by Skillshare. The last thing of note is an end card informing us that they have 364 days left. This count at the end of every episode. It's a good touch, a constant reminder that there is a ticking clock and the tension will rise as it gets closer to the finale. Our final episode we're looking at today is Ultra Menace Missile, or on the Japanese side, Argo Lift Off, the 296,000 light-year challenge. Yo dog, last week we proved the ship could travel 148,000 light years and back, but now we're doing the 296,000 light-year challenge, sponsored by HelloFresh. Anyway, after our recap of the previous two episodes, we cut over to the Gamelon base at Pluto, observing the destruction of their ship by the Yamato. The one in charge of the base, Colonel Gans, is contacted by the Roddy McDowell guy, aka Leader Deslock.
Gans?
I'm bored. Can I watch TV? He asks what Gans is so worried about.
Our Pluto base has nothing to fear from this old wreck.
Now polish my forehead and replace my left eye's light bulb. It started to flicker a bit. Deslock says that the ship will never fly, even though it demonstrably flew already beyond all reason, but whatever. Gans asks to use their new Ultra Menace missile on the thing, and Deslock approves.
All right, Gans, you can do that.
And for God's sake, please turn my head so at least I'm looking out a window or something. As the missiles prepare to launch, we cut back to Earth, where Captain Avatar, who now has a helpful caption for his name if you forgot the first 2 minutes of this episode where he was already explicitly named, is giving a speech to the crew of the Yamato about the importance of their mission. We get captions over not just the cadets, but a few new characters like Orion and Sandor.
Centuries ago, another ship sailed out on another important mission. In honor of our mission, we have renamed our ship the Argo.
What did the Argo do that was so important? I don't know. I'm actually 3 sheets to the wind already, people. Let's go to space or something. I'm not surprised that they renamed the ship in the dub, though I am surprised they kept that it was specifically made out of the Yamato and didn't just make that the Argo as well.
Many of you may not choose to go. That is no disgrace.
Though I will be side-eyeing you when we get back. The Gamelons launched their missile.
Sure, it's phallic. Why wouldn't it be?
Apparently we've got to host a farewell parade for the crew of the Argo. Do you think they told regular civilians about the whole "we've got 1 year left" thing? Mark's little brother runs up and gives him a lei or some kind of flower necklace for good luck.
Who's gonna take care of your families while you're gone?
There is logic in what he says.
God, look at this crowd shot. I know they're not the focus of this bit, but man, some people in the future have weird gourd-shaped heads. This is also not a very disciplined or well-secured parade, since now we have Nova's parents coming up and bringing her out of the parade so they can be sad she's leaving. Anyway, Earth detects the missile, 55 minutes out, and the Argo's crew is quickly assembled. Derek is dubious of their chances for returning, mostly due to his frustration with Captain Avatar, but enough of that, we've got more characters to introduce.
Conroy, second in command of your fighters.
Lieutenant Dash, artillery unit reporting.
Homer! Avatar arrives and explains the ship's engines have charged up enough for launch. So much power is necessary for the new engine that a worldwide power grid was set up strictly to charge its capacitors. And the government still insisted they sign up for the special home service package. Avatar shows Derek and Mark around the ship a bit. I don't know why they get special treatment and not poor Homer or anybody. Including their primary weapon, the wave motion gun, which operates on the same principle as the wave motion engine. But before we can get into that, let's spend 20 seconds in another flashback to the original Yamato battleship shooting its cannons. Because Headquarters realizes that the missile's target is the Argo and...
I'm Nova, in charge of radar and analysis. Very nice to see both of you again.
Yeah, so why are you introducing yourself to them again? And weren't you a nurse before? The ship also has a holodeck, or holography room, and points for Space Battleship Yamato coming up with the holodeck 15 years before Star Trek The Next Generation. IQ-9 is hanging out here because he's a very weird robot. In addition, it has a manufacturing plant inside of it that allows them to construct spare parts for repairs or just personal objects. After seeing their giant hangar full of fighter craft, we see the engine room and Orion again, who I think they're either going for a Scottish or Irish accent?
If this wave motion engine works as it should, we're in for a surprise.
We got the lowest bidder for this junk heap. I would be surprised if we go 3 miles an hour in it. He explains that the wave motion engine compresses space, which creates tachyon particles that move faster than light. The ship is pulled by the tachyon, so it goes faster than light speeds as well. The tour ends and Derek asks Orion something.
I understand you've been Captain Avatar's chief engineer for a long time.
That's right.
Does he always edit such big pauses between people saying things? I mean, the show isn't exactly paced at breakneck speed as it is, but I think this kind of padding is noticeable. He actually wants to know what sort of man Avatar is, still pissed off about what happened to his brother. Orion says that war pays a heavy price. Avatar's own son was in the battle at Pluto and was also killed. And I'm getting really confused why no one just mentions, yeah, Avatar ordered him to retreat as well, and he disobeyed to try to save him. I feel like you can still have the drama about it, like Derek wants to make sure that Avatar is worthy of that sacrifice, but instead it just comes out as, how dare you not explicitly save my brother when there were like thousands of other people killed. The two return to the bridge.
There you are, Wild Star. Earth headquarters has just reported that a huge Gamelon missile is coming straight at us.
Wait, they're only now telling you that? I kind of figured everybody was brought back to the ship because of the thing, and was wondering why they were wasting time with a tour at all. Why wouldn't you have scrambled the crew immediately?
I'll inform Captain Avatar right away.
We have holodecks, wave motion engines, and sentient robots, but nobody has invented a friggin' intercom system. After a bit of a character moment where Derek spots a photo of Avatar and his son, it's time to finally get to the action. The bridge crew wants to fire up the engines, but Avatar explains that the engine needs to start with a single coordinated motion or the power surge will shake the ship to pieces. Derek asks if they have time to go by the book.
Wild Star, the less time you have, the more you need to use it wisely.
If you have an excess of time, though, you can pad things like crazy and insert long pauses in conversations. With 10 minutes to go before it hits, they begin the launch procedure and power builds up.
Connect the wave motion engine.
All performance issues, it's not uncommon.
He tries again, noticing an auxiliary switch he hadn't activated, but it fails yet again.
It still doesn't start.
Be quiet!
A normal reaction to when I won't stop talking about my 3D printer hobby.
The less time you have, the more you need to use it wisely.
I guess the silence is actually to indicate to them the engine actually is powering up, since it turns on and the ship begins moving. The Argo takes off and they're able to shoot the missile down. The explosion big enough to make headquarters fear the ship was destroyed momentarily, but it emerges from the blast without any damage.
Well, Wild Star, you came through. Even if you do blame me for your brother's death.
But at least we can still communicate telepathically like this.
I think you'll be a man he would have been proud of.
I am a man who he would be proud of! Hey Harvey, we got a new hat for you! It's full of Pokemon keychains! And so our episode ends with the narrator asking us various questions.
Is there hope for Earth? What is the fate of the Star Force?
Their fate seems to be a pretty successful franchise. These episodes are okay. I suspect that many of its problems are probably a result of the dub. Like, some stuff is just a matter of the conventions of the period. A slower pacing, repeated animation, and reusing several shots, multi-minute recaps at the beginning to try to eat away at the runtime, that sort of thing. But then you got stuff that I think is probably a dub issue. The facts of their situation repeated multiple times in multiple episodes, for instance. There's a stiffness to the performances. Some of them certainly can convey more emotional moments, but there's a lack of confidence in Derek's acting in particular. Like, he's not certain how seriously he should be taking the stuff he's saying. There's also an awkwardness to even how sentences are structured. Like, they've been translated, but not necessarily localized to sound the way English speakers would say things. It kind of reminds me of the Transformers Headmasters dub by Omni Productions.
The reinforcements arrived at the most critical moment.
Darn that sound wave.
I am the space consultant from Jalo. My name is...
I didn't ask her to speak.
What is scripted is technically correct, but it feels like something written by people where English is their second or third language. And mind you, it wasn't Americans that decided to have IQ 9 out of nowhere lift up Nova's skirt. What the hell? Still, the premise is phenomenal, and there's something very eerie and disturbing about seeing Earth being such a barren, orange-brown color from space. As I said, the countdown at the end of every episode is a great touch, and I enjoy the idea of this desperate Hail Mary mission from people we've never heard of promising a solution to this problem. There's so much storytelling potential here. Are they actually legit? We can solve the radiation problem, but how do we stop the Gamelons? No one's ever ventured this far out before, so what new, weird alien threats are there on the journey? Honestly, my only disappointment is that it feels like we'd have a whole new layer of tension and drama if the ship was launched prematurely in the second episode without a full crew. Like, the few people on board need to figure out how to control and maintain a ship meant for hundreds of people, but only being a handful of them who will bond over the course of the journey. But that's not to say that doing it the way they did is wrong, just different. It's a rough start, but it's not an altogether terrible one. Well, except for the idea of converting a seafaring vessel into a spaceship. Melting down the ship to make a new one? Sure. Actually using its hull and just shoving in your wave motion engine?
No, I don't buy it for 1 minute.
Next time, the Patreon-sponsored extravaganza continues with something fun. Reality has been collapsing ever since David Bowie died in 2016, so let's see if we can bring a little of him back with the comic adaptation of Labyrinth.
That was very rude.
Do not be upset. I have not yet been programmed to be polite.
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall.
How dare you have a My Little Pony comic without a cameo from me? Me? Your rent's going up.
Oh, God damn it! Hello, my friends. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell for notifications on new video releases. If you'd like to support future videos, you can check out my Patreon, buy merch from the Store Envy link in the description, or check out the t-shirts available from Fourth Wall. Thanks for watching.